Today's show was brought to you by Viking-Industrial.com.
Hey guys, Thomas from Burnt Crow here, and I wanted to do a review on this soldering iron that I got. This is from Hobby Lobby, and it's a Weller 25 watt soldering iron. Many of you may already know this, but it will not get hot enough to do circuitry work like we were doing here. If you watch the previous drone building video, you'll see that I had a lot of trouble with the soldering, and there's a couple of reasons for that. But most importantly, the reason is because this didn't get hot enough. And if you look here, I don't know if you can see that, on the tip, it's actually melted. And what this is they don't use steel, they don't use like a zinc coating or anything like that. It's just, I think it's brass is what it is, and it's raw. So when you heat it up, what you're going to get is you're going to get all this, let's see if we can see it. So what you're going to get is all of this oxidation on here. So what you need to do if you're going to use something like this is you need to immediately put some solder on there and cover it so that it can't oxidize, and that'll keep it from well, it'll make it last a lot longer. And you can see all the tips in here. If you turn this on and you set it down for a couple of seconds, you'll see it start to gray, start to fade out here, and you can see that the tip actually melted off. It just melted right off. And this is not the first one that's done it. Quite a few of them have. It's just not strong enough to conduct it. So the temperature on this, I believe, gets to about 600 degrees, which I guess if you're doing jewelry and stuff like that may be enough for it. But for what we're doing, we need it to be at least 700 degrees. So what I did is I went out and I went to Harbor Freight, and I've got this Chicago Electric soldering iron, and this is a 30 watt, and this one gets up to 735 degrees. So this should be just the right temperature for circuit boards and putting together a drone with lead-free solder. Now if you want to use lead solder with the lead in the flux, this will work because lead is able to get wet on the circuit board at a much lower temperature than lead-free solder. So when you're soldering your circuits, what you do is you put this on the board. It's going to heat up for somewhere between 1 and 3 seconds, and you heat the little plates up with the little chips, and then you put your solder on. Many of you that know this already if you've been soldering for any amount of time, but if you're just starting out like I am, it's really interesting to learn these things because it makes all the difference in the world, and it'll keep you from messing up like I did at the beginning. So the other way around it, if you don't want to use lead solder, is to get a hotter temperature. This was $3.99 compared to $15, well, almost $16 and some odd change, but it comes with a bunch of different tips and little file and weird things like that. Actually, I don't think that came with it. That came with something else, but it comes with a lot of tips and a little stand. And I guess if you're doing jewelry, it's okay for stuff like that, but not for our purposes. Try this one. This is the next one we're going to try, and I'm going to do a video review on this one afterwards. And this is Thomas for Burnt Crow, signing off.